So let's get right into it. We're going to start with the midseason awards.
Okay.
Let's start with the basic ones. We'll save the creative ones for a little bit down the road here. Let's look at the DraftKings odds right now for MVP. So here we are, smack dab in the middle of the season, and this is, according to them, a 3-person race, potentially a 5-person race here. So the favorites are all at plus 350, and there are 3 co-favorites.
Right.
Lamar Jackson, Jalen Hurts, and Patrick Mahomes, all at plus 350. And then just a little bit behind, you have Tua at plus 650. And then you have Joe Burrow probably creeping up here. I'm sure he wasn't plus 700 just a couple weeks ago, maybe even last week. And then a little bit longer shots, you have Christian McCaffrey, Josh Allen, and Trevor Lawrence, but still in that upper echelon.
Yeah.
So as we sit here right now, who would you declare as your midseason MVP?
Well, I mean, again, I think it's, to me, a little bit frustrating and annoying that it's all quarterbacks other than Christian McCaffrey.
Agreed.
To me, there's something wrong with the process where only a quarterback can win MVP in football. It's like basically like, I mean, in other sports being like, well, only a shooting guard can win the MVP in basketball, or only the guy who hits the most home runs, or the best pitcher. I don't know. It just doesn't seem right. I don't think it's fair. All right. So the first thing I would say is watch out for Lamar Jackson and Joe Burrow. Those would be the 2 guys that are on this list that I would certainly say, I feel like, to your point and what you said about Burrow, arrow pointing up, trajectory going steep upward incline to where I feel like stats are going to start to blow up to add into the fact of like, yes, they're both playing really good football. I see, Mahomes, I don't see MVP-ish week in, week out type of performances from Mahomes right now.
Right.
And Jalen Hurts, who's been really good this year, and I would argue has actually made more high-level throws through 9 weeks this year than he did last year, right, in a lot of ways. But he's also, second in football in turnovers? You can't be the MVP with being second in football in turnovers. That doesn't make sense to me. All right, here, if I was going to pick an MVP right now from what we've seen, Tyreek Hill is the MVP of football.
He's your MVP.
He is my MVP through the 9 weeks of the season of what we've seen and who is most valuable to their team, let alone, the most special entity in the game right now. I'm going Tyreek Hill. Right, the Dolphins, everything about them. You take him off the Dolphins, they're a good offense. I'm not sure they're a great offense. He's on pace still, even with the lackluster week last week, of being right there at 2,000 yards and shattering the all-time record. The guy with the ball in his hands is the most dangerous guy in the sport. The guy before the game even starts is the guy defensive coordinators worry about more than any other player in the sport in game planning and stopping him. So that's where. I give Tyreek Hill, and I'm ashamed A.J. Brown isn't on that list too, because he should be above some of these quarterbacks. But Tyreek Hill, for me, would be the MVP right now.
I mean, will we ever see the day where quarterbacks don't get all the love for MVP? Because Pete mentions in my ear, and he makes a good point, and the point is that it's the most important position in all of football. If you don't have the quarterback playing at a high level, you're probably not going to be a championship team that year. Maybe you won't even be a playoff team.
Yeah.
And so it's like the reason that we do give him all the love for MVP is without that key piece, because without Tyreek Hill, I mean, I guess you could make the case without Tyreek Hill, the Dolphins.
I don't think the Dolphins' offense, Tua, the stats are not going to be the same.
He's more important to that offensive flow than
anything.
Any quarterback
exactly.
will be.
That's all I'm trying to say. It's not an indictment on Tua. Tua is really good. I got that. But, for me to sit here and you go, wait, you subtract him for him, like they're going to be in a much worse place, without Tyreek Hill and supplanting some other starting receiver in football there, as compared to where if we took Tua out and put another starting quarterback there. I think there's going to be a much bigger drop-off in that department. That's where I would go with Tyreek Hill. And, again, I'm going to continue to be fair in this conversation and beat this down because it is stupid. It's not. I understand it's the most important position in sports. I get that. But I also think that there's a lot of things that sometimes add to the quarterback stats and what they get, and win-losses, of course, go on their stats as it is too. And I just don't think that's always fair or right. And that's why I'm going to support Tyreek.
I think if Christian McCaffrey goes off and the 49ers go on this massive run
through
here.
4 weeks, that would have been my first pick.
I think he could do it. I'm going to go chalk-ish.
Okay. Yeah.
I'd go Patrick Mahomes right now.
Yeah.
I'd go Patrick Mahomes. They're 7-2, right?
Yeah.
We don't think there's anything about the Chiefs. Defensively, as you broke down last week, defensively, and we will break down here, they're a lot better.
Right.
And they may be as good as they've been with
They
Patrick
are,
Mahomes
definitely,
as a quarterback.
definitely.
But, like, offensively, without Patrick Mahomes, what are they?
I think that's a fair point. I think that's where he's sneaky a good candidate for that reason. Like, I don't think he's not going to have the stats that blow us away this year to where we're going to look at it and go, oh, he definitely is. But again, when you talk about valuable player, not the guy with the best stats on the best team, yeah, you're right. To make it work with that offense right now, the receivers certainly don't blow you out of the water, right? It's Kelsey, and then it's just like who's going to be the other guy that day. We never know. It kind of changes, whatever else. And you're right. It's Mahomes that gives that team belief and makes the offense work. But as of right now, that offense is not anything special. They kind of feast on the poor. And then when they got to play good teams, a little bit like we'll talk about with Miami, their offense kind of struggles, and it is very reliant on Mahomes to make extraordinary plays.
Pete threw something in here, and this is interesting. Tyreek Hill is plus 4,000 to win the MVP.
Right.
A.J. Brown is plus 7,500, so he's even a bigger value there, and he is affecting that offense in similar ways.
Exactly. That's where I just look at them, and I look at the value they have to their football team right now, and I just go, it's up there with anybody in the sport at any position, and I don't understand why it doesn't get valued more in the public. What a great weapon to go, okay, it's third and 8, and I can throw the ball 4 yards, and he can break 2 tackles and get first down. Oh, it's 3rd and 8, and they're blitzing us, and I have nowhere to throw. Let me just throw it up to this guy, and he'll go up and catch it, right? Oh, it's 1st and 10. Let me just throw a screen over here, and now he's going to break a tackle and run up the sidelines for 45 yards. Like, those are game-changing, special type things that I think are a little bit going undervalued in this conversation, and that's where I just would like to see them get more love.
Are we worried, though, about Tyreek and the Dolphins' offense as a whole slowing down? We saw it last year.
I know.
So this year, Tyreek has over 1,000 yards already, 8 touchdowns. Last year through 9 games, over 1,000 yards. Only had 3 touchdowns there, but still, they were using him a ton. Last year, though, his final 8 games, 606 yards. Now, they did have quarterback injuries.
Yeah, right.
But are we
Change
worried?
things.
And we did see this past week.
Yeah.
Chiefs had a pretty good plan for him.
No, I think there's definitely a worry there. What you've seen now, the Chiefs, the Eagles, the Bills have certainly put a blueprint out a little bit to how to give that Dolphins offense some problems. But like, to me, the Bills did some things there. They're going to play them again. The Bills' defense is going to be totally different when they play them because of the injuries. Right, so that's one thing I look at. But the other thing I would look at is just go, most defenses are not going to have the type of talent that the Chiefs and the Eagles have to actually, and even the Bills, because that was before they all got injured on that side of the ball. They don't have the talent to do some of the things we're talking about schematically. Now, they play the Jets and the Ravens down the stretch and the Cowboys, and I would think those are some teams that certainly have the talent and a defensive coordinator can think outside the box a little bit and slow this pace down. It'd be interesting to see as we go along here, because we are getting to the time of the year where teams start to catch on to tendencies and how people are used and start to realize, they attack this part of the field a lot more than that part of the field. Let's put more people there, and we'll see where it goes and see if Miami can make the adjustments.
As they say, you can't win the championship the first 9 weeks.
No, you cannot. No, you cannot.
Even the last 9 weeks.
No.
You got to just win the Super Bowl.
No, you
That's
can't.
the only way you can win the championship. Defensive Player of the Year. Let's take a look at the DraftKings Defensive Player of the Year odds as they sit right now. This one clearly looks like a 3-man race. We got Micah Parsons, the slight favorite right now. Myles Garrett just below him. And then T.J. Watt just below him. And then you got a group. My guy Aiden Hutchinson, plus 2,000. Max Crosby. Nick Bosa. Surprising to see him so far down the list, but he really hasn't popped.
No, hasn't popped.
Like
hasn't
he normally does
like
this
we
year.
usually see. Right, exactly.
His teammate Fred Warner is right there with him at plus 3,500, and then Chris Jones at plus 3,500.
Yeah.
First of all, what do you think of the odds?
I think in reality, the top 3 guys, the top 5 guys deserve to be there. Really, Max Crosby actually probably deserves more love, but the fact that he's not on a top-tier defense and wins, he probably should be up there closer to the TJ Watt type of numbers as far as actual play on the field.
Can I say it right now?
Yeah,
he would be my defensive player of the year right now. Because I'm looking at a lot of the numbers.
Right.
He leads. I'm looking at PFF right now. He leads all edge guys in pressures.
Yes, he does. Right.
And he plays a ton, so he gets a lot of run. And I like that.
What's he do like when you look at him? Because I don't look at this type of stuff. Like, what's his run defensive stuff and there? Like,
on the PFF grade?
Yeah.
I'll look at it.
Yeah.
Actually, they have him number 2 behind DeMarcus Lawrence this year.
All right.
As far as a run defender. And here's the thing that I love about Max Crosby. He has almost 600 snaps this year.
Yeah.
He has 594. The second most is Danielle Hunter with 527. Right. So he has like 70 more than the next closest guy.
Incredible.
So he plays all the time, plays at a high level. I love
played
watching
every
him
snap
play.
Of the game on Sunday. Every snap.
He played like 83 snaps against the Lions the week before. It's just like he would be my guy. And I get your point. Like, he's not on a winning team, big good defense, but I love the way he plays.
I mean, again, when you get into the pure aspect of value, it should be a more, or a lower number, as far as odds there. I tend, and if you made me pick one right now, right, and I got no problem with really, to me, the top 3 guys are a little bit in the class of their own. Micah Parsons, Myles Garrett, TJ Watt, and then there's Aiden Hutchinson, right? And like I said, I think Max Crosby should be closer to that TJ Watt number at plus 200. I would go with Myles Garrett. He'd be the one I would look at right now. Myles Garrett, just week in and week out, has such a great effect on the football game. Not that I've watched every game they've played on film, but I think it's been 4 or 5 at least, to say, at least 4 or 5. And it's not only pressures on the quarterback, it's pressures in big moments, strip sacks in big moments, right? There's big tackles for losses in the run game in big moments. He's an absolute force in the run game. The blocked field goal and jumping over the pile against the Colts. To me, it's just like, not only is he always good, but I feel like this is a year where his level of play has gone to another level, especially in key moments of the football game. And I think that, and then you add on the fact that the Cleveland defense is doing some special things, and of course he's the best player on that defense. I would go with Myles Garrett.
I think he would be my favorite to win it too. Micah Parsons, although Nick Bosa won it last year, and I feel like, I don't know Pete said in my ear 3 sacks this year, and of course he wasn't there during all training camp. This doesn't seem like it's clicked.
It hasn't. He's pressuring the court. Bosa's being really good. It's just not great. That's all I would say.
And then TJ Watt, I think, succumbs to the fact that we're just like over. Like, you get bored with some of these guys, right? Like, I think Patrick Mahomes won't get the love because, we can't give it to him every year.
Yeah, exactly, right.
It's like TJ Watt won it in 2021, and they're like, and we gave it to your brother a couple times, too, like 3 times. It seems like the Watt name. It's like, we get that. You're having a good year. So I do think, this is Myles Garrett year, and he's only 27 years old still. That's crazy.
He's, no signs of falling off at all. In fact, really might be just starting to hit his prime, actually, when you just could put it all together as far as where his physical ability is, and then I think where his mental aspect of his game is at as well. I would say I feel like he changes game plans maybe more than the rest of these guys in the group right now. Micah's right up there with him as far as that, but when you watch Myles Garrett and no matter who they're playing, teams are always, let's keep a tight end there, or let's have the tight end chip him before he goes out, running back chip him before he goes out.
Yeah.
Let's see if we can slide his way. It's always the attention is on him, and he always delivers. And being a great leader, and I think Jim Schwartz getting a little bit more out of him has made that whole defense, turn the corner and become great.
A former first overall pick. Now, finally, how many years has he been in the league here? I'm looking at it. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. He's been good, obviously, but might be the best that we've seen Myles Garrett here, 7 years in.
Yeah.
DraftKings gives us our Leader House Awards. I love these awards.
I love it.
This is going to be a long podcast.
The Leader House Awards.
So let's spend some time talking about the DraftKings favorite to win each division. So a shock to maybe no one out there who has been watching the Lions all season long and watching the rest of the division struggle, although the Vikings playing better lately. They are the favorite of all favorites to win their division, minus 1,100 to win their division. The Chiefs are minus 900 to win their division. The Eagles are minus 550 to win their division. So this speaks to both the quality of the team that we're talking about and the quality of every other team in their division. But the Lions are the most likely division winner. This is a crazy year. I knew 2023 was going to be weird. I didn't anticipate it being this weird.
Well, I think the top three are all, to me, safe bets. I do. I think the one I look at to go, I think it should be up there a little bit more, is the Jaguars. The Jaguars would be the other one if you're looking for more of like a value bet or whatever. That would be the one I would look at.
I agree with that because I guess maybe they have some faith in Houston or Indianapolis.
I'm guessing that's what it is a little bit.
Houston did beat them.
Houston beat them in Jacksonville, so I get that.
I just made the case for Tennessee, but yeah.
Yeah, but I look at it, I still think the Lions are the team I would probably look at to be the team that I would most likely bet on there. You can't trust anybody, from the AFC North. That's too damn good of a conference. The AFC East is getting there, but I still can't just say, the Dolphins over the Bills for sure, right? I mean, I got to see the Dolphins beat some quality teams first before I say that's going to happen. So I really kind of look and like that top four for sure. I think those are the ones. I just think the Jaguars are a little more underrated in this than they should be.
Yeah, I agree. The top three, I mean, no one's catching the Chiefs out in the West.
And I don't
either.
expect Dallas to catch the Eagles. I know there's more of a chance of that happening because Dallas is really talented. Philly's got some tough games on the horizon, but I still expect them to win the division.
Don't forget, on DraftKings Sportsbook this season, new customers can bet $5 and pocket $200 in bonus bets instantly.
Plus, all customers can get a no-sweat same-game parlay every day.
Download the app and use the promo code UNBUTTONED when you sign up. DraftKings Sportsbook. The crown is yours. It's like we kind of did some inflection that time, which made it even better. So Coach of the Year and my guy, according to DraftKings right now, Dan Campbell. So if they win the division, which they are the most likely division winner, as we just said, I think it's a slam dunk. I honestly think the Detroit Lions winning the division, which that hasn't happened, I don't know, since the 90s, I honestly think he should be more of a favorite.
Yeah, well, I think he is the favorite. I do. Detroit, the story, right? There actually was expectations. They're delivering. I think all of those, I think he's the guy to look at there for sure.
I think it's plus 180, so you're still getting some. I mean, I don't gamble, as you know. I'm not a gambler.
Yeah.
But this is one where I feel like, because Pete said in my ear, it's like they were expected to win. And oftentimes this award goes to the team that makes a huge jump that wasn't expected to.
I know.
But I think the story of the Lions for so long.
I think that's what that plays into this, right? He is part of the reason they are expected. He is the main reason they had the expectations going into the year anyways. He kind of flipped things around last year, right, and got it going that way. And so that's where, I think it's worthy. I know they had the expectations of that already. I get it. I know what Pete's saying there too. But to deliver and show yourself for most weeks of being one of the better teams in the NFC, I think he is worthy of that. To me, the next one, Mike McDaniel is the other one that I wrote down on my thing. I know they haven't beat great teams, but we're still seeing revolutionary things on the offensive side of the ball from Mike McDaniel and the Dolphins. They are still 6-3, and they're got the leading quarterback in football, the leading offense in football, the most big plays. I mean, you go through just about every statistical thing in football on the offensive side of the ball, the Miami Dolphins are leading at, and Mike McDaniel's the one calling the plays and orchestrating all of it. So I have a hard time thinking why he's not a little bit higher up in the odds or a little closer in all of this. He would be that. Those two to me are clearly the favorite right now.
I do think D'Amico Ryan's the third choice right now. They're 4-4.
Yeah.
If C.J. Stroud continues this upward trajectory and they somehow win that division and look like a solid playoff team.
If they can win the division, that'll make me think a whole different thing.
Agreed.
I don't think you get Coach of the Year for going like, they were better than we thought. They went 8-9. That to me does not merit Coach of the Year status, and merits a good pat on the back and everybody telling you how damn good you are, but not Coach of the Year.
Pete makes a good point about Kevin O'Connell, perhaps, if they can somehow win the division. So still yet to be determined there. The Ahmed's Red. Wait, this is from Ahmed's Red Pants. There's a Twitter out there that's called Ahmed's Red Pants.
Yes, there is.
Homie, for sure. We love you. the how the F do we have a winning record award goes to Mike Tomlin. And that's really the travesty of this whole thing, because you know how much I like Mike Tomlin.
Yeah.
And I think it's outrageous that he has never won a Coach of the Year award. And if he gets him in the playoffs this year, even I will be the one that's like, no, still it's Dan Campbell's award.
It's pretty crazy. It really is, actually, when you think about it. He's been there that long, never had a losing record, been to the Super Bowl twice, won it once, and has never won Coach of the Year. In fact, it doesn't even feel like he's even come close. That's what's weird.
I know.
But doing an awesome job. The problem with that is that they're winning because of his culture and his toughness and everything he instills on the defense. They're also pain to watch because he hired the offensive coordinator, and this is the guy he believes in. So that's a major problem. And half the Steelers fan base thinks he's the greatest thing ever because they keep winning this way. The other half wants him fired because he hired Matt Canada. So it's kind of crazy. Yo, what up, homies? Thanks for watching. Remember, subscribe to Chris Simms Unbuttoned. Right now, we got Sunday pod, right? So you can have it Monday morning. We recap all the action. Wednesday, it's the What the Happened podcast. We're going to get deep in the weeds on the key matchups of the week. And then Thursday, I'm picking games with that jerk Florio. So you know where to find us, homies. Keep watching. Peace out. We'll see you.